Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
It's been the dirty secret that's changing workplaces around the country. Claims of sexual harassment are now getting our full attention. And Alice Kell's music legacy impacting a new generation in the cities. Sexual harassment in the workplace may be as old as the workplace itself, but now, because of some brave women and a movement with the hashtag #MeToo, some very high-profile offenders are losing their jobs and their reputations. Politicians, newscasters, entertainers, athletes. But what about people who aren't high-profile? After all, sexual harassment is a nationwide issue. And joining us is Kathleen Richland, who's Bettendorf's Director of Human Resources, and A.C. Earl, a Professor of Business at Blackhawk College. Thank you both for joining us.
Pleasure to be here today.
Thank you.
Kathleen, I mean, you've been talking about this issue now publicly far more because of it becoming in the forefront, being highlighted so much. But as we were saying, this is not a new issue in any way.
Correct. It's not a new issue. It's just, with some of the situations that have occurred, that's been brought up by the media, as you had stated, it just kind of brings it to the forefront, and employers and employees are wondering, okay, what do we need to do to avoid it, to prevent it? If something happens, what to say?
Well, let's be honest, some people may not even know what sexual harassment is, so could you define it for me?
Well, sexual harassment is basically unwanted or unwelcome actions, comments. It could be media, it could be anything like that that could be offensive to somebody. Usually somebody needs to say, that kind of does bother me, in order for it to really become a harassment if it continues. So.
And and the key is if it continues, because let's be honest, one person's unthoughtfulness or harassment may be another person's playfulness or misunderstanding.
Sure, and if they continue to do it and they aren't told, that comment bothers me, or please don't ask me out anymore, or whatever along those lines. If they don't know that they're bothering somebody, then it really couldn't be considered in their minds as harassment.
Well, Professor Earl, you've been doing this since the 1990s at Blackhawk College, teaching business. I mean, is today's generation so much different than the generation of the 1990s?
I would definitely say so. It would, particularly from a women's point of view, I think society is much different now. Women are certainly much freer to express their concerns, their objections. Perhaps years ago, I think women felt compelled to tolerate certain behaviors because of perhaps their career advancement or lack of advancement. And those things more or less held women, in many cases, back from coming forward. But today, I think the society has changed greatly, and it's expected, quite frankly, if behavior is inappropriate. Well, let's be honest. Acknowledge it.
It was always seen as a woman's issue, but now it's just as much a man's issue, is it not?
Yes, it is, because of the fact that from a male perspective, such claims, the mere fact of a claim can jeopardize your reputation, jeopardize your income, jeopardize your livelihood. And so you certainly need to be very careful in terms of dealing with this area.
Is it critically important, Kathleen, especially for supervisors? I mean, is that where the training really has to be emphasized, or is it every single employee?
I believe it should be every single employee. The responsibility on the supervisor to make sure that they keep track of their employees, what's being said, what's being done in their departments. But also, I think it's just as beneficial to train the employees. We bring on approximately 200 to 250 seasonal employees every year, and part of our training is to talk about harassment. Social media is very big nowadays, and what's funny on Instagram or Snapchat may be very offensive to somebody else.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And you see that all over the place. And let's be honest, humor in so many different ways is a very personal thing.
Yes, it is.
And it can really get out of control quickly.
Correct.
So tell me, how do you act in a workplace then? I mean, some people might be comedians, cut-ups, class clowns, and that could be really inappropriate.
Right. I think that it comes down to just respect in the workplace. On an employer side, where I look at the city of Bettendorf, we try to give training on an annual basis, refreshers whenever we need, and talk about orientation and harassment training as well. So it's really important on the employee side to respect each other in the workplace and do your job. Sure, there's going to be fun because we're with each other a third of our day. But it just, the way that I look at it is, if something's starting to bother you, it's okay to say something, and then maybe remove yourself from the situation as well, so that you don't get bothered so much.
Well, before you became a business professor, you were also in human resources and dealing with people and employees on a day-to-day basis. Has this always been a major issue, or is this one of those things that, is it a bigger deal now than it was before?
I think it's always been there. However, the reporting of it, I think it's now certainly ballooned. There's no question about it. So I don't think it's a new phenomenon. I think it's been around for, again, long as there's been male-female interactions in the workplace. But I think the reporting, the comfort zone, the change in society, acceptance, I think has made this issue much more prevalent today.
So obviously the key is to have a good HR person. I mean, because every claim should be taken seriously.
Definitely.
Both sides should be heard.
Definitely.
There should be a process, right?
Yes, definitely. There should be due process. I mean, certainly you want to be fair to the one who's making the claim, but you don't want anyone falsely accused, because once that accusation hits their record, it is extremely difficult to purge that kind of a reputation from your background.
But I think of the small business, like 15 people.
Yes.
Where you don't necessarily have an HR person, you got the owner.
Yes.
You got the guy that sunk his entire livelihood into this business, and now you have a situation like this. I mean, how do you teach that for the small businessman, how to take care of it? Because it is such a small, let's say 15, it's almost like a family, and accusations probably went to other employees' ears before they went to the owner's ears.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. More likely that in fact is the case. Someone privately has talked to a good friend or a best friend in the workplace, and so very typically it does unfortunately filter, I like to say horizontally before it goes vertically.
Very true.
And by the time it goes vertical, it's really sometimes much more difficult to contend with than having someone immediately come forward in that small environment and deal with it. But again, sometimes I think people feel, in fact, because we are a family, we are close-knit, they sometimes are reluctant to come forward, and that becomes another problem.
We can take care of this ourselves.
Exactly.
Just keep it as a secret, and everything will, move on.
Yes.
That's the wrong thing to do?
In my opinion, that is the wrong thing to do. And you're correct, and we did talk about that at the presentation at the library, that you do have smaller businesses that they don't have that HR person. And my comment to them was, maybe talk to some supervisor or talk to a family member and try to get some type of guidance somewhere on how to handle it, because just as you had stated before, you're not sure if it's harassment or not, so maybe just a couple questions, ask about it, inquire about it, and then do something if it does escalate.
Is it often, if not always, a case of just power? You know what I mean? And then reporting it's very difficult because it is a person who is in power.
Well, I think that harassment can come in many forms, not just a power position. Sure, there's your quid pro quo, this for that. That may normally be in type of a power position, but it could just be peer-to-peer, where you just feel bothered by a person. So it's not always a power position that would cause this to happen.
How does this become a topic in the classroom? I would ask you that. Because when you're dealing with business, I mean, the whole issue of business is 1,000 different types of topics. Does this become a topic in the classroom now?
Most certainly. We try to spend some time with what we call current events, addressing topics that are hot for the day. And certainly
this would be it.
this would be at the top of the list. And so I think it's intriguing because, again, the different perceptions. Often in the classroom, we have a wide range of students. From 18, 19, just out of Moline or Rocky High School,
Absolutely.
to someone who's in their 40s or 50s who are coming back to the workplace later but need retraining. And you can see the sharp, sometimes debates in class of what is and what isn't, how should it be handled, how should it not be handled. And clearly you can see generational differences in terms of from just ignore it, move on, to let's address this now And so it's a challenging classroom situation, no doubt.
Well, let's be honest, the classroom is obviously a good representation of the workplace because you have people of different experiences.
Yes.
And it's very, I mean, this is not a black and white issue.
No.
Like we say, there's so much gray area here
Yes.
among employees or supervisors.
Yes, and you get many demographics from age issues to cultural issues in the workplace. You have different cultures that have different in terms of mores or values, in terms of how to deal with the opposite sex. And that is another intriguing thing, because again, sometimes what's acceptable in one culture is completely unacceptable in the other.
And is that what we're seeing? I mean, do you notice generationally that it's changing, that perhaps there's more respect or at least an equal parity among the younger generation than perhaps that we've seen in older generation?
I would tend to agree that the younger usually want to talk about it. They want to say something about it. They seem to be more vocal, where those that are more seasoned, they just go, well, that's just how that person is, so we're just going to kind of move on and leave it alone. But so I do see a little bit of the difference with the younger employees that we do bring on.
Is there also a difference generationally? Because when I was getting into the workforce, you might get a job and you'd stay there forever. And now it's much more mobile, and that person might say, you know what, this guy's a jerk, I'm getting out of here. Whereas in the past, you might have gone and lived through it.
Well, we don't necessarily see that at the City of Bettendorf. We do have a lot more movement or turnover with employees, but especially on the seasonal side, basically because of their schooling, and then they move on to different jobs. But you know, at the city, when we do bring people on, we do tend to keep them because we're a good employer.
But as you well know, AC, is that people are moving on a lot quicker these days.
That is true, and a lot of the millennials, their mindset in terms of working for a place forever and ever and ever is simply not there.
Work's not life.
Not life.
Correct.
They have a life beyond work, as they would look at it. Whereas opposed to, I think of my father, for example, the company was his life, basically.
Right.
And he locked in and he stayed for years and years and years. But youngers are often more skilled, more flexible.
Interesting, yeah.
And so they have no reluctance in terms of moving on, where someone who's more seasoned might be committed to the area or committed to the community in a lot more ways, and so they're much more careful about moving on.
What about workplace rules? Because I know that there's a number of companies that may say we frown upon any relationship among our employees. Well, good luck with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is also one way of saying, okay, then there's no romantic entanglements. If anything, that makes it black and white, and you can't do this and that.
Well, I think in terms of sexual harassment, you should address it in terms of what the policy is and not offending one another. We don't condone that type of behavior. When it gets into relationships, that gets to be a little sticky, a little difficult to deal with. You know, we want them to abide by the rules and do their job. Beyond that, it's difficult to kind of address.
So the key is to have some rules in place?
You should have rules.
The key is to have rules in place, no doubt. But again, human interaction, it seems that interaction always finds ways to stress the rules.
Isn't that the truth? Absolutely.
That is true.
Well, and as long as we're talking about regulations, in Congress they're already offering bills that would actually make it more of the onus on the workplace and the employer to make sure that you have a safe working environment. That adds yet another level of regulation as far as trying to codify conduct inside the workplace. Does that make it easier for employers?
Well, we've always had policies and procedures and how to handle these harassment type situations. As I stated, we've always done training and constant refresher training. Social media was a big one that everybody had to get over to try to make sure that we capture that as well with their cell phones. Everybody has their cell phones with. So if additional legislation or rules come out, we just add it to the policy and we'll just continue to train as we always do.
And I just think that government with larger groups of employees, it's a little bit easier for them. And I just keep going back to, let's say, the camera shop or the deli on the corner where you don't have that many employees.
Yes, very much true. The resources for the small employer, extremely challenging. And I encourage small employers to try to attend workshops Chamber of Commerce sponsors a number of workshops from time to time. So if you haven't got an HR person, and most of them probably would not have such, maybe a workshop by the Chamber of Commerce or Black Hawk College may very well be able to
There's
assist
resources
you.
out there.
Exactly.
Well, and the key too is, I think what we're trying to underline is don't ignore it.
Can't ignore it.
Can't ignore it.
No, not only is it problematic in the workplace, but there may be fiscal liability that the employer could certainly be at risk. And so, from not just the social point of view, which is damaging enough, but the potential lawsuits that could exist can be rather stressful again.
Professor A.C. Earle from Black Hawk College, Kathleen Richland from the city of Bettendorf. Thank you both for joining us.
Pleasure.
Too. So much appreciated.
Thank you much.
In a moment, Ellis Kell's music taking center stage again. But first, Laura Adams has a look at all of the holiday happenings you might enjoy when you go out and about.
This is Out and About for December 11th through 17th. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. Join the Swenson Center at Augustana College for a smorgasbord on December 12th. Reservations required. Then stay for the Sancta Lucia Festival at Wallenberg Hall. This holiday season, share the joy and tradition of classical German Christmas chamber music at the German American Heritage Center on December 11th. And check out their Christkindlmarket craft fair on the 16th. Plus, the center serves as a giant Advent Kendall with every window decorated to count down to Christmas. Or check out all of the performances going on at Circa 21. There's Elf the Musical on the main stage, Fancy Nancy's Splendiferous Christmas for kids of all ages, and next door at the Speakeasy, Open Source Improv on the 16th and Windy City Dueling Pianos on the 15th. Plus, there's always comedy going on at the Establishment Theater in downtown Rock Island, home of comedy sports. The Bucktown Christmas Review takes place at the Nicewander Theater on December 15th. The Daffy Audience Participation Musical, the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, continues at the Black Box Theater in downtown Moline. And Teach Me to Murder, a hilarious comedy whodunit, is performed at Skellington Manor December 15th. Make reservations for dinner and the show. Or check out the Polar Express Pajama Parties at the Putnam Museum and Science Center December 14th through 17th. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. It was this time last year when the city's lost a true music legend. Last year on December 16th, bluesman Ellis Kell died of cancer at the age of 61. Right now, we want you to remember Ellis Kell from one of his RME performances. We think this is an appropriate selection. It's Ellis Kell and Why I Love the Blues.
Came to me this morning, I tried to get myself out of my bed. Too many mornings like this take their toll upon your body and your head. It takes a lot to just get up, make it till another day is through. But to know I'll probably do it all again tells me just why I love the blues. I can curse the first drink that I ever took, all I want to know, Vale. For every laugh it got me, I have paid for with a token piece of hell. Well, it might have been a woman, or a good day, or a bad day, I don't know. But when I sing the blues, it tells me why I love them so. You tell me why do I go on when I've known, yes I've known for oh so long. Wish that I could turn around and start anew. But I guess that's probably why I love the blues. So baby, let me know if you don't think that you can take this anymore. I'm as tired of it all as you are, baby, and my heart and mind feel poor. Just don't you leave me, 'cause I can't go on without a love like you. Just chalk another up and understand me, and just why I love the blues. Yeah, just chalk another up and understand me, and just why I love the blues. Thank you.
Ellis Kell and Why I Love the Blues. And Ellis's legacy lasts, especially at the downtown Davenport River Music Experience, where he was the heart and soul of so many of its education programs. And one of those programs starts in mere days. The Ellis Kell Winter Blues Workshops and Concert are coming up. And joining us is Brett Dale from the River Music Experience. First off, it's been a tough year, but it's great to have this legacy live on.
You're 100% right. Just putting Ellis's name on anything related with kids and music seems completely appropriate. Ellis lived and breathed music. He said he was the ultimate family man, but besides the love of his family, second was music. He just absolutely loved it, and sharing it with people of all ages, especially children.
Such equal passion, too. I mean, he just seemed to have so much time for everyone.
Right. We called him the musical Santa Claus because just the instruments he would give away. His family, through their scholarship fund, the Carly Rose Kell Musical Scholarship Fund, they buy thousands of kazoos every year, and still do to this day. I just got 2,000 more in the mail a couple days ago, so that we give away every year, and that was his mission, you know. He loved it.
Pass on the love of music might be no better gift in some ways.
Right. Well, music, it's universal. It's everywhere. You can't jump in your car without hearing it. The start of every program, every news show, music, you know, and it's very emotional, no matter what genre you love. And that's what's great with the kids, is you get to express where American music came from and how it's all connected, and you see the correlation in their eyes when they figure it out. You know, you can't have hip hop without disco. And they're, really? And then you explain, it's great. It's all connected.
Well, the Ellis Kell Winter Blues Camp starts December 26th.
Yes.
What is being offered? Because, I mean, it's not just a simple little workshop. You've got a lot of things going on for these kids.
Right. So it's a week-long program. We start the day after Christmas. It's 1 to 5 every day. And we get professional musicians and instructors to teach the kids. We form them in bands. They pick and choose which tunes that they want to play, and we work them. We work them really hard. It's a ton of fun, don't get me wrong, but we really want to preach learning how to communicate on stage. Self-confidence is huge, and every time the kids are about ready to get on stage for the concert, they're a nervous wreck. So am I, frankly, just watching. But every time they get on stage, they floor me every time. And it's emotional to see them do it and grow the kids who keep coming back year after year.
Well, and you're talking about kids anywhere from 8 to 18. Is it different skill levels? I mean, what type of child is really eligible for this?
You get that a lot. Parents saying, you know, my child's been taking lessons for less than a year. Can they come in? And the answer is always yes. We don't want to discourage any kids. We want to give the opportunity for all kids to play music. So if you don't really know anything, well, just come and see if you like it, and then from there we'll take care of lessons, and there's always something to do on stage.
Because we have talked oftentimes with people who are directors of plays, or as you said, people who are involved in music, and when you get a child just to open up, it is amazing how the performing arts can transform a child and give them so much confidence.
Right. That's just something special about all art, I think, you know, especially music. With art breeds creativity, and we need creativity. I mean, now more than ever, especially with our kids. We don't need to take it away. We need to deliver more, and that's with Ellis, it was just so important to him, and same with me, with him being gone now. It's extremely important and my #1 focus to make sure that we can get kids any resources to give them the opportunities they need to succeed.
Well, for the Blues Workshop, though, the registration deadline is by next Friday. So, I mean, the time is ticking right now. What do you want parents to be thinking about? What do they have to do?
All they have to do is go to rivermusicexperience.org, and underneath our education tab, you see Ellis Kell Blues Camp. You click on that, and it's extremely easy to sign up. We have financial assistance available if needed. The workshop is $175. And it's extremely easy. You could call me. It's, you know, anything. So
the door's as wide open as it possibly could be.
Sure, and you always get a few of the same folks and same parents who wait till the very last minute. You know, Christmas Eve, and of course, we're not going to deny any kids to come to camp. So it'll be open unofficially until camp starts.
Well, and let's talk also is that final jam session is New Year's weekend, so Saturday, December 30th at the RME. I mean, like you said, it's a nerve-wracking experience. It always would be because it's built up to a big performance, but it's such a welcoming and intimate performance stage that you have. It
is. We just remodeled it a little bit, so it's bigger now. So when you get, you know, sometimes you'll have 10 kids in a band. So the space up there, it'll be great. But what's fantastic about all these kids programs and the concerts in the Redstone Room is they pack the house. Their friends and their family and peers, our board of directors, just fans of the RME come and watch these kids. So usually they play anywhere between 200 to 300 people in the room. And like you said, they knock everybody's socks off.
A little bit of energy in that room, isn't there?
A little bit.
Yeah, what a great way to end the year, too.
It is. This camp was always Ellis and I's favorite camp of the year, our favorite program through the River Music Experience, just because it's the perfect way to cap off the year of all the programs that we offer.
Ellis Kell Winter Blues Camp. It starts the day after Christmas, and then the big concert is the Saturday before New Year's. If you get a chance to register, go to the RME webpage.
Yes, sir. Thank you
so much. Brett Dale from the RME, we appreciate you being here. WQPT is also ready to party next month, and we hope you'll join us. Tickets for our biggest fundraiser, Champagne on the Rocks, are now on sale. You can join us at the Davenport Outing Club Friday, January 26th for dinner, an auction, and a chance for you to win a fine piece of jewelry. Head to our website, WQPT.org, and see some of the items that could be yours. So we hope to see you at Champagne on the Rocks, January 26th at the Outing Club. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.